Hello, welcome to today's video. Today's video is for Chapter 8, Section 4, Sine and Cosine. So we've already learned tangent and we've seen where the tangent ratio comes from. These next two are just two other ratios that we can write based on an angle. The first one is called sine, and we can abbreviate this one SIN. And the sine of an angle, so we'll call it A, sine of A, is always the length of the leg that's opposite over the hypotenuse. And the cosine, which we can abbreviate COS, is always the length of the leg that's adjacent over the hypotenuse. So writing the sine and cosine ratios, we just need to make sure again that we're careful about what angle we're at. So if I'm at angle T, then the sine of T is going to be the side that's opposite, that's 8, over the hypotenuse, that's 17. And if I do the cosine of T, that's going to be the side that's adjacent over the hypotenuse. And if I switch and I go to G, now the side that's opposite is going to be the 15, so the sine of T is equal to the 15 over 17, and the cosine of G is opposite G, or sorry, adjacent to G is 8 over 17. So what they want you to notice is these two are the same and these two are the same. So what's always true is the sine of an angle is always equal to the cosine of its complement. Okay? And that's going to be called what's called an identity. So an identity is a trigonometric equation that is true for all allowed values of the variables. Okay? And you're going to learn a lot of these in pre-calc because what they let you do is simplify equations that have sine and cosine and tangent in it. So the first one is this: if I have the sine of any angle, I can change it to the cosine if I do the complement of the angle. So if I give you the sine of 41 degrees, and suppose you want to change it to cosine, you can change it to the cosine, but you got to take the complement of 41. So that would be, let's see, 49 degrees. So we'll do this problem in class. We'll find how far is Mercury from the sun in astronomical units using trig. Trig is great for measuring things that we can't measure by hand. Now, just like tangent, we can also use cosine and sine to find angles. So they want you to find the measure of L to the nearest degree. Now, for this one, they actually give me all three sides. So I can use sine, I can use cosine, I can use tangent. All three will give me the same answer. So I need to take two of the sides. So how about I'll use sine. I'll use opposite and I'll use hypotenuse. So what I can do is I can say, well, opposite hypotenuse, that's going to be sine. The angle I don't know, but it's 3.2 over 4. And then I can use my calculator to say, okay, what angle, so inverse sine, produces a ratio of 3.2 divided by 4. And it tells me 53.1 degrees. Done. Now, just to show you that actually does work, I'm going to actually do it a second time and make sure I get the same answer. So how about I'll use the adjacent side and I'll still use hypotenuse. So for this one, I would use cosine. So the cosine of L would be 2.4 over 4. And if I take my calculator and I do inverse cosine, it should also tell me 53.1 degree. And it does. So just to convince you that I could actually use any of the trig functions to solve this problem. And that's it for today's notes. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.